Chapter 1. Planning a Trip. Jerome K. Jerome. On the following evening, we again assembled to discuss and arrange our plans. Harris said, "The first thing to settle is what to take with us. Now, you get a bit of paper and write down J, and you get the grocery catalog, George. And somebody give me a bit of pencil, and then I will make out a list." That's Harris all over, so ready to take the burden of everything himself and put it on the backs of other people. I said I could not permit him to take so much labor upon himself. I said, "No, you get the paper and the pencil and the catalog, and George write down, and I will do the work." The first list we made out had to be discarded. It was clear that the Thames would not allow for the navigation of a boat sufficiently large to take the things we had set down as indispensable. George said, "You know, we are on a wrong track altogether. We must not think of the things we could do with, but only of the things that we can't do without." George comes out really quite sensible at times. I call that downright wisdom, not merely as regards the present case, but with reference to our trip up the river of life generally. How many people on that voyage load up the boat till it is in danger of swamping with foolish things which they think essential to the pleasure and comfort of the trip, but which are really only useless lumber. How they pile the poor little craft mast high with fine clothes and big houses, with expensive entertainments that nobody enjoys, with formalities and fashions, with pretense and ostentation. It is lumber, all lumber. Throw it overboard, it makes the boat so heavy to pull you nearly faint at the oars. It makes it so cumbersome and dangerous to manage, you never know a moment's freedom from anxiety and care, never gain a moment's rest for dreamy laziness. Throw the lumber over. Let your boat of life be light, packed with only what you need, a homely home and simple pleasures, one or two friends worth the name, a cat, a dog, enough to eat and enough to wear. You will find the boat easier to pull then, and it will not be so likely to upset, and it will not matter so much if it does upset. Good, plain merchandise will stand water. I beg your pardon really. I quite forgot. Well, we left the list to George and he began it. "We won't take a tent," suggested George. "We will have a boat with a cover. It is ever so much simpler and more comfortable." It seemed a good thought and we adopted it. You fix iron hoops up over the boat and stretch a huge canvas over them and fasten it down all round. It converts the boat into a sort of little house, and it is beautifully cozy, though a trifle stuffy. George said that in that case we must take a rug each, a lamp, some soap, a brush and comb between us, a toothbrush each, a basin, some tooth powder, some shaving tackle, and a couple of big towels for bathing. I notice that people always make gigantic arrangements for bathing when they are going anywhere near the water, but that they don't bathe much when they are there. It is the same when you go to the seaside. I always determine, when thinking over the matter in London, that I will get up early every morning and go and have a dip before breakfast, and I pack up a pair of drawers and a bath towel. But when I get to the sea, I don't feel somehow that I want that early morning bathe nearly so much as I did when I was in town. They seem to keep a specially cutting east wind, waiting for me when I go to bathe in the early morning, and they sharpen up the rocks and cover the points over with a bit of sand so that I can't see them, and they take the sea and put it 2 miles out so that I have to huddle myself up in my arms and hop shivering through 6 inches of water. And when I do get to the sea, it is rough and quite insulting. In the present instance, we all talked as if we were going to have a long swim every morning. George said it was so pleasant to wake up in the boat in the fresh morning and plunge into the limpid river. Harris said there was nothing like a swim before breakfast to give you an appetite. He said it always gave him an appetite. George said that if it was going to make Harris eat more than Harris ordinarily ate, then he should protest against Harris having a bath at all. I urged upon George, however, how much pleasanter it would be to have Harris clean and fresh about the boat, even if we did have to take a few more hundredweight of provisions, and he got to see it in my light and withdrew his opposition to Harris's bath. Agreed finally that we should take 3 bath towels so as not to keep each other waiting. For clothes, George said 2 suits would be sufficient as we could wash them ourselves in the river when they got dirty. Harris and I were weak enough to fancy he knew what he was talking about, and that 3 young men with no experience in washing could really clean their own shirts and trousers in the river Thames with a bit of soap. We were to learn in the days to come that George was a miserable impostor who could have known nothing whatever about the matter. If you had seen these clothes after, but as the shilling shockers say, we anticipate.
Our life is like a voyage on which we face several obstacles, but also gain new and interesting experiences.